Oh, lads. Alright, chat, let's take a look at some Innistrad Monster Hunt cards. I have only seen the cards that were on like the first stream. So, for example, I have seen these ones. I've seen Triska Didakefile. Ren and 7-man. Let me read him again. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library, put all oh yeah, it's just insane, isn't it? 0, put all your lands into play. -3, make a thing that can block gold ban. -8, return all permanents from graveyard to hand. Yeah, I mean, he's just sick, isn't he? He is just sick. Then you've got a shock that scries. You've got an op that surveils. You've got the best magic card of all time because it says destroy creature on it. Alright, what we got here? 2-sided cards. Enduring Angel. 5 mana, 3/3 double strike flying. You have hexproof. If your life total would be reduced to 0 or less instead, transform the angel and your life total becomes 3. Then, if Enduring Angel didn't transform this way, you'll lose the game. What does that even mean, man? So if they kill the angel in response, you lose? Kind of? Oh, so you can't do it with a token. Ah, right. Okay. I mean, if they kill the angel in response, it kind of makes no difference, right? They could have just killed it before they attacked or whatever anyway. Angelic Enforcer, flying, you have hexproof. I guess it lets you use cards like Tail's End or whatever, right? To as well stop it. Okay, so you flip into this thing and your life total goes to 3. Power and toughness equal to life total. When it attacks, double life total. I mean, guys, this thing's absolutely shit. Unruly Mob. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a counter on Unruly Mob. 2 mana 1/1. When another creature you control dies, put a counter on it. Just terrible, innit? Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, +2/+0. Yeah. 2 mana 2/2, 3 mana to get Death Touch. 1 mana 1/1, and for 2 it becomes a 3/3. Nope. Contortionist Troop. Enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Okay, those cards just never work. You don't have that many creatures in a real game. Galvanic Iteration. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Flashback. I mean, that's probably pretty good. It's not the type of, you can't play a lot of copies of this, but I would, it's the type of card I'd be happy to play like a one-off in my blue, red, and maybe a third color deck. But, I mean, you're not going to play more than like 1 unless you've found a way to break the card. But in like a normal deck, you're going to play 0 or maybe 1 of this. Good card. It's a good card if the game goes long, yeah. Light Up the Night. Deals X damage to any target. It deals X +1 damage instead if that target is a creature or planeswalker. Flashback. 4 mana. And remove X loyalty counters from among planeswalkers you control. If you cast... Is that 4 mana or do this? Or 4 mana and do this? And... What? Dude, that's like impossible. So like, if I have like a Chandra in play, and I remove 2 loyalty counters, I'm forced to cast this for 2, huh? And then it's, what is it 4 mana, 2 loyalty counters, and another 3 mana? It's only 4 mana. I mean, it's like, okay. So that's obviously a little bit better, but that's still just impossible, isn't it? Okay. I mean, I desperately want this card to be good, but it just sucks, doesn't it? Arlen the Pack's Hope. 4 mana Planeswalker. Daybound. If a player casts no spells during their own turn, it becomes night next turn. Okay, chat. Question, what does next turn mean? Does that mean if I have an Arlen and I cast no spells, it becomes night on the opponent's turn? Opponent's turn, okay. Until your next turn, you may cast creature spells as though they had flash, and each creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional counter on it. And -3, make 2 wolves. Okay. Arlen the Moon's Fury. Nightbound. If a player casts at least 2 spells during their own turn, it becomes day next turn. +2, get 2 mana. Until end of turn, it becomes a 5/5 werewolf creature with trample, indestructible, and haste. Gas? I mean, it's okay. It's a different version of Chariot. I don't think it's as good as Chariot, man. And it's the same color, right? You're just gonna play Chariot, are you not? Like, if you really want a bunch of 4-drops, you're gonna play 4 Chariot and maybe like 2 of these. I don't think it's gonna be 2 Chariot and 4 of this though. But like, it's okay, I think. Chariot is just an incredible card, guys. It can be a 5/5 haster, and I mean the card is good, yeah. But I think you're only going to add this to your deck after you've already got 4 Chariots, right? So some decks are going to want 4 Chariots and then just to chill on the 4-drops. Some decks are going to want more and then they'll probably play this. Like, it is definitely a good card, but it's competing with one of the best cards in the whole of Standard, like a top 3 card. And same mana cost, same color, pretty much, you know? Beloved the Beggar. Disturb 6. You may cast this card from graveyard transformed for its disturbed cost. 6 mana, 4/4 flying vigilance. If it would be put into a graveyard, exile it. What? Jadar, the ghoul caller of necrophilia. 2 mana, 1/1 human wizard. At the beginning of your end step, if you control no creatures with Decayed, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. I mean, meh. Very meh. Tavern Ruffian. 4 mana, 2/5 with Daybound and Nightbound. Candlelit Cavalry. At the beginning of combat, 3 or more creatures get out of my face. Candle Trap. 1 mana aura. Enchanted creature has Defender, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt by the enchanted creature. And for 3, you can sack it, exile the creature, activate only if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers. Just yikes, innit? Oh, these are the lands? Enters the battlefield tapped unless you control. Fast lands? Oh shit! Oh no, wait, it's not. It's tapped unless you control. Wait, these are terrible. No! What? Oh my god, they're so bad. Good. Okay, they're not so bad, but they're definitely worse than the alternative. Streamer turns 3 and 4, the most important in Standard. Also, Streamer, these lands are trash. Like, trash was harsh, right? Like, they're okay. You will put them in your deck, yes. They're fine. But I'm just sad. I thought they were the real fast lands. Brittle Cather. When this creature... Oh wait, so what are we getting? Does this have... Are these all the colours, or are they just the opposite ones to the fast lands that we already have? Only 5 colours? Seriously. One day will be... I don't know when it will be. hopefully many years down the line, guys. Hopefully many years in the future this day will come. But this day will come. There will come a day when it is the last day that I ever play Magic. And I'm going to have some reasons for that. And top number one reason is going to be the fact that they bring out lands half of the thing at a time. Like, seriously, man. It is, like, I've played a lot of games in my life, and this is the dumbest thing about any game I've ever played. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. I cannot believe it. It's, I mean, it transcends games. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. It's so dumb that comparing it to other dumb things in video games is unfair. You have to compare it to just dumb things in life. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. I hate it, man. Absolutely hate it. But anyway, let's carry on. Brittle Cather, 3 mana 2/2, white rare 3-drop. When this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into Brittle Cather, exile target creature an opponent controls until this creature leaves the battlefield. Okay, so kind of a scuffed apparition on this side. And it can transform into... Ward, pay 3 life, first strike, 3/3. Okay, but when you flip, you still get to keep the creature underneath, right? Yeah? I mean, it doesn't matter how good this card is in a vacuum. The question is, you have space in your white deck for like 10 to 12 3-drops, right? 4 of them are Apparition, probably 4 of them are Spellbinder. Is this better? So it's not better than any of those 2 cards. So the question is it better than the other ones that are fighting for the last 2 to 4 slots? So what's the other ones? The other ones are Redain. The other ones are... what are the other ones? Forgot. Archon, yeah. Maul. Like, maybe. Maybe you'll play this. I mean, you'll probably play this... So, this card is most likely to see play if a meta forms where Spellbinder is bad, huh? Which, I mean, that's absolutely possible. That's absolutely possible, but it's way down the list behind Apparition. So Apparition's your first 4, and then it's like, so Spellbinder to tax expensive decks, or this one to remove creatures. Like those 2 cards are hitting different metas, right? And you'll just play one of those 2 cards, I would imagine. But it is pretty good. Poppet Stitcher. 3 mana 2/3. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, create a zombie with Decayed. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more creature tokens, you may transform into this thing that you'll never transform into. Creature tokens you control lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 3/3. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may transform Poppet Factory. This thing sucks. The only way this card sees play is if it fills the Legion War Boss slot, you know? Like a sideboard creature in a control deck. So that you can sideboard into this, and your opponent has no removal for it, right? Because they've sideboarded out their removal. Like, you might consider it in that type of slot, like the War Boss slot, but I mean, other than that, it's just trash, isn't it? Completely. Sigarda, Champion of Light. 4 mana 4/4 flying trample. Humans get +1/+1. Whenever it attacks, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, look at the top 5 cards of your library, reveal a human creature card from among them, and put it into your hand. What? Scuffed Winota? This is not even a scuffed Winota. This is like... This is not even... This is not a ghetto Winota. This is absolutely... Horrific, Winota. Wasted the tree that died for it. Honestly, guys, if I was playing green-white humans, even if I was playing green-white humans, I still don't think I would play this. This is just not a card that you can spend 4 mana on. Secrets of the Key. Investigate. If this spell was cast from the graveyard, investigate twice instead. Tovolar, Dire Overlord. Whenever a wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Wolf Tribal. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more wolves and or werewolves, it becomes night. Then transform any number of human werewolves you control. This thing just sucks, man. Ranger class? Yeah, you've got Ranger class and the wolf, but you put Ranger class and the 2 mana 3/3 in your deck, and then you just play a different 3-drop, man. This thing sucks. Arrogant Outlaw. When it enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Okay. Defenestrate. Destroy target creature without flying. 3 mana, by the way. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. Add 1 mana of any color. Brimstone Vandal. 3 mana 2/3 menace. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day as Brimstone Vandal enters the battlefield. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, deal 1 damage to each opponent. Ominous Roost. When it enters the battlefield or whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, create a 1/1 token with flying, and this creature can block only creatures with flying. Meh. When it enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, add 3 red. 3 red, discard, or 3 mana, discard a card, draw a card. I mean, this card is almost pretty cool, man. Like, if it cost less mana and gave you back less mana, it's pretty spicy, but it's just way too expensive, innit? Village Watch. Haster, huh? Hasty boy. Again, almost. Foul play. Destroy target creature with power 2 or less. Investigate. Yeah. Can't stay away. Return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from graveyard to battlefield. It gains if this creature would die, exile instead. Flashback 5. This plus Luris. Luris is rotating, man. And this type of card is great when you cast it, but it's just too hard to be able to cast it, man. I don't know. Like, it's just shit, I think. One of and Orzhov Auras? Yeah, you just don't... The Auras, like, just doesn't need this type of card. This is the type of card where you would play some copies of it if a Magic deck had, like, 10,000 cards in it. But you've only got 60 cards, man. You can't justify using one of those 60, or even... Yeah, you can't justify using one of those 60 on a card like this. It's pointless. Okay, I do not speak that language. 2 mana artifact. 1 and a tap, pay 1 life, discard a card, draw a card, then mill a card, put a counter on Heirloom Oculus. If it has 3 or more counters on it, transform it. 1 mana, pay 1 life, discard a card, draw a card, right? Alright, and you transform into a 4/4 flyer. Exile target creature card from a graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on Ancestral Demon. Geist Flame Reservoir. 3 mana artifact. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a charge counter on Geist Flame Reservoir. Okay. 2 mana. Remove any number of charge counters. It deals that much damage to any target. 2 mana. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. It's just way too much mana, bruv. What is this thing? 4 mana, 4/3. Whenever it becomes blocked, creatures blocking it get -1/-1 until end of turn. And then on night, whenever it becomes blocked creatures, whenever a creature blocking it dies, its controller loses 1 life, and it's a 5/4. Hell no, mate. Hell no. Curse of Leeches. Enchant a player. As this permanent transforms into Curse of Leeches, attach it to a player. What? At the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, they lose 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay. When it transforms back, you attach it. I mean, a 3 mana 4/4 lifelinker is pretty good, but you don't get a 3 mana 4/4 lifelinker, do you? Tarmogelith. Power is equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to that number plus 1. At the beginning of your end step, create a green ooze creature token with this creature's power is equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to that number plus 1. Sorry kids, that's a nope. Rite of Harmony. Whenever a creature or enchantment enters the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. This is just a card that is impossible, man. To play this in a normal deck is like impossible. You have to pay 2 mana to cast this, and then play 2 creatures or enchantments. So you can do a combo with this of some kind that where drawing cards is good, which is not too many combos, to be honest. You don't technically have to play anything, you just need things to enter. Yeah, I mean, like what, man? Like tokens? Yeah, what tokens, dude? Sajmur Witch. Yeah, but I mean, dude, then you're playing... If your Sajmur Witch is... If you're untapping with Sajmur Witch up, it doesn't matter, dude. Like, any spells that you're casting are good, and this card is not good unless you have that, right? Something like that. It's just too hard to make it work, man. Curse of Shaken Faith. 2 mana enchant player. Whenever enchanted player casts a spell other than the first spell they cast each turn, or copies a spell, deal 2 damage to them. Meh. Belagarung Zombie. Tap 3 untapped creatures that you control. Opponent takes 1 damage. That's a fuck. German God. Gisa, the Glorious Resurrector. 4 mana 4/4. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. At the beginning of your upkeep, put all creature cards exiled with Gisa Glorious Resurrector onto the battlefield under your control. They gain Decayed. This is another kind of scuffed card, but not bad. I mean, kind of terrible. It's pretty similar to... Where's the blue guy? Poppet Stitcher. Like, these cards are kind of shitty, but if they do see play, it will probably be in the sideboard of a control deck, you know, and you, as I said, in the Legion Warboss slot, like, maybe you want to bring this fine lady in from the sideboard when your opponent's sideboards out all their creature removal, and you're playing a removal deck, and you're just kind of farming with her, but... The problem is, the Warboss slot is reserved for only the most snowbally of creatures. And I am not sure that Gisa Glorious Resurrector is a Legion Warboss tier snowball ending. So therefore, I would hit that with a nope. Hobbling Zombie. 3 mana 2/2, when it dies, make a 2/2 token. Dissipate, counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it. Vorat Scammer Zombie. 1 mana 1/3. Tap 3, look at the top card of your library. Blade Stitched Scab. 2 mana 2/3, other zombies get +1 attack. Meh. I mean, are zombies... Are there even enough zombies to play a zombie tribal deck? There's not that many zombies, is there? Red rare 1-drop. Okay, dude, let's go. 1 mana, 2/1. Alright, one time. Good text, please. Okay, it says Sacrifice Vampire. That's kind of a yikes. Terrible Housemate. 1 mana, 2/1. 2 mana, discard a card, sacrifice a vampire. So you can sack herself, I guess. 2 mana, discard a card, sack a vampire. Alright, that's a lot of stuff. Draw 2 cards. Activate this ability only if an opponent lost life this turn. That's kind of good, man. That is very good, is it not? Is it good on turn 1? Yep. Is it good on the late game? Almost. This thing seems like the best card so far by a mile. Takes a lot to make work. Does it? I mean, if you don't have a mouse, maybe. If you do have a mouse, you can just click attack and then you've made it work. Touchpad Andy's Malden. I think that's very good. Lunar Frenzy. Target creature you control gets +X/+0 and gains first strike and trample until end of turn. That's almost very good. Kessig Naturalist. 2 mana, 2/2. Whenever it attacks, add green or blue until end of turn. You don't lose mana as steps and phases end. Whenever it attacks... It seems kind of bad to me, guys. I don't know why I would play this instead of like an Innkeeper. Unless I'm playing Werewolf Tribal, I guess. That's in any other deck. I'm not sure I would play this instead of Innkeeper or Magda or whatever. But I don't think I'm playing Werewolf Tribal. Although it is a third, like, pretty decent 2-drop on top of your Ranger class and the 3/3, so maybe Werewolf Tribal is a thing. The Celestus. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day as the Celestus enters the battlefield. Add 1 mana of any colour. If it's night, it becomes day. Otherwise, it becomes night. Activate only as a sorcery. Whenever day becomes night, or night becomes day, you gain 1 life. You may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Absolutely awful. Curse of Silence. Enchant player. As Curse of Silence enters the battlefield, choose a card name. Spells with the chosen name enchanted player casts cost 2 more to cast. Whenever enchanted player casts a spell with the chosen name, you may sacrifice Curse of Silence. If you do, draw a card. That's pretty cool. That seems very good. That's absolutely crazy, is it not? Seems like a great sideboard 4 of. What do you mean sideboard? Dude? Just to play this card, man. 3 mana, draw... How is it 3 mana, draw a card? What do you mean? How do you know which card to name? Like, by playing a little bit of Magic? And then once you do that, you know every card in every deck? Watch a stream for 10 minutes? But you have to guess game 1. How do you have to guess? I mean, you have to guess if you're on the play game 1. But if you're on the play game 1, how about just don't cast the card and wait for them to play a land and then you know their entire deck? But it lights up in my hand and I have to cast it, yeah. Pything Needle. As Pything Needle enters the battlefield, choose a card name. Is this a 1 mana Spyglass? Is it exactly the same as Spyglass? Can't see the hand. Yeah, I guess. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated. I mean, this thing's surely good, right? There's not too much to say about it. It's obvious where you want it, obvious where you don't. It's pretty good. Flame Channeler. When a spell you control deals damage, transform Flame Channeler into the embodiment of flame. Whenever a spell you control deals damage, put a flame counter on Embodiment of Flame. And for 1 mana, you can remove a flame counter from Embodiment of Flame, exile the top card of your library, and you may play that card this turn. That is honestly almost pretty good. Gavoni Dawnguard. 3 mana, 3/3. Ward 1. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day as Gavoni Dawnguard enters the battlefield. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with mana value 3 or less among them, put it into your hand, put the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. Scuffed. Sarith the Viper's Fang. 4 mana green creature, 3/4 legendary. Other tapped creatures you control have Death Touch. Other untapped creatures you control have Hexproof. And for 1 in a tap, you can untap another target creature or land you control. Trash, guys. Absolutely dog shit. Whenever Devoted Graphkeeper enters the battlefield, mill 2 cards. Whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, tap target creature you don't control, disturb 3. 3/1 flying can block only creatures with flying if it would put blah 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 blah. I mean, both sides are bad. It doesn't really matter if you've got a card with 2 sides on it if they both suck. Bad plus bad equals good. Yep. Vampire Socialite. 2 mana, 2/2 menace. When Vampire Socialite enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life, put a counter. As long as an opponent lost life this turn, each other vampire you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. This thing has to be pretty good, right? But obviously it's an incredibly narrow card. It's just a Vampire Lord. But 2 mana, 3/3 menace that buffs your other vampires seems kinda good to me. I'll be surprised if there's a vampire deck though. We will have 2 Innistrad sets. That doesn't mean that there's going to be a good vampire deck, dude. That just means there's going to be some vampire cards. The second Innistrad set is focused on vampires though, isn't it? Yes, man. But again, it just means that there's going to be some vampire cards. There might be a vampire deck, there might not be a vampire deck. We'll have to wait and see. What the hell are you talking about? Graveyard Trespasser. 3 mana, 3/3. Ward, discard a card. Oh shit. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, exile a card from graveyard. Okay, banger. Big banger. Graveyard Trespasser, huh? I mean, ward discard a card is just absolutely crazy. Not too much else to say about it. Unbelievable text. Finally, some good fucking werewolves. Yep, and it's a black card, which is great for your grow deck. I mean, this is just a solid card, man. If it gets blocked, it sucks. But it's just really good in every other situation. I mean, if you're trading with another 3/3, it's actually not too bad because you're still getting to drain, etc. But Faithful Mending, you gain 2 life, draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, flashback 3. Okay, I mean, it's just good, isn't it? Not much to say about that. CROKEYZ Counterpart. Create a token that's a copy of target non-frog creature, except it's a 1/1 frog. Did you pose for the art? That's not me, man. I don't have a goose. Okay, this card is incredible. Frog is the sincerest form of flattery. This is probably the best card in the set so far. How would one use it? I mean, if you're going camping, you can use it as some flint to start a fire. Keep yourself warm. 3 mana gold span and make a treasure. Yeah, dude. I love to play Magic and cast a gold span and attack with it, and then pray that my opponent doesn't have any removal, and then they don't have any removal, and I get to untap with my gold span dragon, and then I'm just thinking, finally, I can make a frog dragon. Like, I've been waiting all day for this turn where my opponent didn't kill my gold span, and now I can finally make a frog. And it's going to be good. Unnatural Growth. 1 and 4 trees, and at the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. Finisher. Dude, this is magic, man. It's not fucking Tekken. What do you mean finisher? Behold my finisher! You just draw a card and then you just cast it, man. That's the game. What do you mean finisher? It's just, it's like, guys, this card's bad. Sludge Monster. Whenever Sludge Monster enters the battlefield or attacks, put a slime counter on up to one other target creature. Non-horror creatures with slime counters on them lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 2/2. So this is a 5-mana Chupacabra that doesn't kill the creature. It's Oko. It turns your 1/1s into 2/2s.
Great banter. It really is.
It slimes when it attacks. I know, right? Yeah, guys, this thing sucks. Absolutely terrible. Diagraph Rebirth. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature that died this turn. Return creature card from graveyard to battlefield. Flesh Taker. Whenever you sacrifice another creature, you gain 1 life and scry 1. Woo! Oh, it costs 1 to sack though. Disgusting. 0 would be broken. I mean, yeah, but there's already broken cards with sack for 0, right? It would just be another one. 2 bad effects makes a good card. No, it doesn't. Okay, chat. So every single card is bad, except, I mean, this thing's okay, but it goes in a Pepega deck. Trespasser is just a solid, pretty good card. Socialite is obviously fine in your vampire tribal. Brittle Cather. There's just, I mean, this thing's absolutely insane. Curse of Silence. And the red 1-drop's really good too. Yeah, well, I'll be honest. I mean, the power level is a hard 0 out of 10. Ecuador! Ecuador!